The Vikings, fierce warriors, master sailors, and legendary explorers. But what happened when one of their own died? Beyond the battlefields and seafaring adventures, the Vikings had some of the most mysterious and elaborate burial rituals in history. From ship burials fit for kings to chilling human sacrifices, their funeral rites were deeply tied to their beliefs in the afterlife. Stay with us as we uncover the haunting and fascinating truth behind Viking funerals. Chapter 1: The Viking View of Death and the Afterlife. To understand Viking burial customs, we must first understand their beliefs about death. The Vikings didn't see death as an end, but as a transition. Warriors who died in battle were believed to be taken to Valhalla, a grand hall where they would feast and fight for eternity under the god Odin. But not all Vikings went to Valhalla. Some were said to journey to Hel, a more somber afterlife ruled by the goddess Hel herself. Others might find their resting place in Folkvanger, the domain of the goddess Freyja. These beliefs shaped how Vikings honored their dead, ensuring their souls had a proper passage to the next world. Chapter 2: Ship Burials, a final voyage to the afterlife. The most famous Viking burial ritual? The ship burial, a spectacular send-off reserved for the elite. High-ranking warriors, chieftains, and even women of noble status were sometimes laid to rest inside actual ships, symbolizing their journey to the afterlife. These ships were filled with weapons, jewelry, food, and even sacrificed animals, believed to accompany the deceased into the next life. One of the most famous ship burials ever discovered was the Oseberg ship in Norway. Dating back to the 9th century, this burial contained not just a grand ship, but also the remains of two high-status women, beautifully carved wooden figures, and various offerings. But here's the shocking part. Some ship burials may have included human sacrifices. Chapter 3: Human Sacrifice, the darkest Viking funeral custom. One of the most chilling aspects of Viking funerals was human sacrifice. In some cases, loyal servants or enslaved people were sacrificed to join their master in the afterlife. But the most infamous account comes from a 10th century Arab traveler, Ahmad ibn Fadlan, who witnessed a Viking chieftain's burial firsthand. He described a gruesome ritual where a young female slave was chosen to accompany her master in death. After days of ceremonies, she was strangled and stabbed before being placed inside the burial ship. Then, the entire vessel was set ablaze. But why did the Vikings do this? Many scholars believe these sacrifices were meant to ensure the deceased had companions in the afterlife, continuing their existence much like they had in the living world. Chapter 4: Fire and Ash, the power of cremation. Right, not all Vikings were buried in ships. Many were cremated, believed to release the soul and send it swiftly to the afterlife. Fire was seen as a purifier, ensuring that no evil spirits could disturb the dead's journey. Some cremations were performed on funeral pyres, massive stacks of wood where the body and offerings were burned together. One of the most fascinating discoveries of Viking cremation rituals was found in Sweden. Large burial mounds where ashes of the dead were placed inside stone chambers. These graves often contained burned weapons, tools, and animal bones, signifying the dead's role in their next life. Chapter 5: Buried with Treasure, Grave Goods and Afterlife. Preparations. The Vikings believed you could take your wealth and status into the afterlife. That's why many burials contained grave goods. Anything from finely crafted swords and shields to everyday objects like combs and pottery. Wealthier individuals had more lavish grave goods, while commoners might be buried with simple tools. But these weren't just material possessions. They were meant to help the deceased continue their existence in the next world. Archaeologists have even discovered Viking graves with horses, dogs, and livestock, reinforcing the idea that the dead needed their earthly companions in the afterlife. Chapter 6: The Mystery of Viking Burial Mounds. Across Scandinavia, massive burial mounds hold the secrets of Viking leaders. These mounds, often containing cremated remains or entire ships, were symbols of power and respect. Some of the largest burial mounds have been found in Denmark, Sweden, and Norway, marking the graves of kings and legendary warriors. What's more fascinating? Some of these sites align with ancient Norse cosmology, suggesting the Vikings believed their graves were connected to the gods themselves. Conclusion: the legacy of Viking burials. Though the Viking Age ended centuries ago, their burial traditions still captivate us today. These rituals were more than just funerals. They were grand ceremonies of honor, power, and spiritual belief. Each burial tells a story of warriors, explorers, and legends that shaped history. So, what do you think? Would you want to be sent off in a Viking-style funeral? Let us know in the comments. And if you love learning about ancient civilizations, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an epic historical deep dive. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure.